I got about halfway through it.
Ooh, that's you go for it. You're natural.
No, I just have a whole hell of a lot of practice. That's what I said before. Hey folks, welcome back to Noodling on Wires. Today I'm going to be working on the Dreadbox Antiphon while we talk about, what are we going to talk about? You've got a few things that you want to highlight on Thonk, and I'm just coming off both the Tokyo Festival of Modular and the Kyoto Festival of Modular, which was last night. Unfortunately, I had to leave Kyoto early because I have children, but both shows were awesome, and we'll talk a lot about that. So I want to start soldering because my iron is very hot and I'm not doing anything with it, so I'm going to get to it.
I've seen this a lot on people's pictures, and I know someone who's been building one, and I don't know how easy it is with this build, but they did the old classic, put the sockets on the wrong side of the board routine.
Oh yes.
I don't know where is the socket board? Where do the sockets go?
So this is the front panel.
What about the other side? Let's have a look at the other side. See those are those trim pots there?
These are for tuning the 8 sine waves that you get.
Okay.
And they all have to be tuned to each other while at temperature. There's some interesting stuff on here. The little ICs for the oscillator, they're actually Cool Audio V2164s.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to focus very well. I need a macro lens at some point, folks. But they're just these, and then they have Temco temperature compensating resistors that are supposed to be just basically squashed right on top of the chips. I mean, you kind of want physical contact, and
yeah.
I mean, I'm almost tempted to go get the epoxy, you know, just to make them really stay there. Because if they're floating in the air, then you're not going to get the right compensation, and I want it to be solid. So,
I mean, to me, this looks like quite a involved build, and I'm not sure 100%, but I get the impression that some people have bought this because it looks cool.
Yep. And
I can see there is quite a lot going on with it. It's quite a big build.
That's cool. This I like a lot. It comes
cool.
with an actual spring reverb tank.
The
only bummer for me is that although it would physically fit, they have no way of mounting it to the module itself. You're supposed to.
So it's supposed to put on the outside of your rack.
Put it on the outside of the rack or on the inside of your case somewhere, mounted to the side of the case. And of course, I mean, you could do the thing like you slap the side of the case and induce vibration.
Yeah.
Fun stuff like that. But I really like it on the module. You know, it comes as a set.
Well, that was the thing with the spring reverb. You know, the music was the what's it called? You know, the Tom. Well, I'm so terrible with names. You know, the classic spring reverb, and I built that, and I had the brick in it, and it doesn't really. Although the bricks are okay, it doesn't sound like a proper spring. Yeah, the music thing modular. Yeah, I much prefer it. And then you kind of start looking into it, and you don't really want to mount it on your case. You do see them out and about,
right?
You know, spring tanks, but they do start. I mean, we think about cases quite a lot, and if you've got a portable case, bolting on a spring tank on the outside is not really great, is it?
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I've actually seen some people with just the tank sitting on the table next to
Yeah, that's what I saw.
And I suppose that's all well and good, but
well, I mean, on Wednesday when I was doing that Brighton modular session, one of the guys, Kev, he had his spring tank just sitting on the side.
Yeah, but
it's just
issues.
It's another thing, isn't it? It's another thing to take.
Sure, forget, get knocked off the table, and generally they're not always sealed, right? Like this one is only sealed on 3 sides, so the potential for damage is pretty significant.
Well, the thing is, another thing to not bring the wires for as well.
Well, this one is soldered on. I mean, it really was meant as a semi-permanent thing. These are all soldered into the individual elements, and then you have little ports that are supposed to go to the back of the antiphon. I'm looking forward to it. I want to find some distortion and try to make some weird guitar power chords. Honestly, that's where I'm headed.
So what's the kind of architecture of it? Because I've, to be honest, I've tried to. It looks cool, and I worry that I'd want to buy it. Basically, that's what so I've avoided it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So tell me about it now. Because you say it's got eight sine
waves that are individually tunable. Let's get the front panel back so you can see.
Are they oscillators?
They're oscillator, but they're not complex in any stretch. They literally are sine waves. But with that, you can make all sorts of fun things. So you have the CV for each 8 sine wave, and the pitch, a VCA, individual levels for each sine. So if you do some harmonics,
is it summed then?
Yeah. If you what was I going to say? You can kind of sculpt your complex waveform out of the sine. So it's additive synthesis.
Right.
Kind of like the Odessa, which is another thing that I'm actually lusting after right now. VCA, a low-pass and high-pass filter, both in here, which I don't really know a lot about. I'm kind of assuming that they're in the Dreadbox style because they have a certain style for their stuff, and it's like the Erebus. I just love to death. You know, it's the filter is what makes it. It's unique and lively and has a personality all its own. So you never go wrong. And then, of course, the actual reverb, gain and mix levels, and your master out. But it's pretty simplistic for a large format module like this, but I have a feeling that it's going to be deeper than that.
So it's got has it got LFO? Does that say LFO on it?
It does. I actually haven't read into that. Maybe these go to LFO rate. Some of the sine waves go to LFO rate, but I'm not sure, honestly. We'll find out.
Yeah, I'm interested.
I have to finish it first.
Actually,
it's kind of funny. You mentioned that somebody was people looking at it. Someone had bought one in Japan, and they had put it up on the used table right away. Just the kit. They didn't build it.
Right.
And I guess it was just intimidating at the end of the day.
Well, I can see why you would think that, because I think I've seen the boards. There's 2 boards. You've got quite a lot of variety in there, and I can see why you would think that is intimidating. It's certainly over a normal Eurorack module in size, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's very large.
But I got the impression that they were pretty popular though, because I know of like a good 3 or 4 people who've bought them.
Okay. Has anyone finished it yet?
Well, I know my buddy over in America, Alex. He's made his, but I haven't heard from him since he talked to me about it initially. So I'm not sure. I don't want to speak for him. I'm sure it's fine, but looking at that, I can see why people might have a few doubts about it. It's certainly something. If it was one, the thing is, they look cool. Mm-hmm. That's the thing about all the Dreadbox stuff. They look cool, and you think, I'd like to get that. I'll buy the kit, and you can find yourself in quite a serious amount of soldering. But
I guess I like their kits very much so.
Yeah.
I actually got the splash, the white line splash, before, because I wanted the reverb out of the Nix. It's digital, but it was really nice, and that's what I think that is. But same circuit, but a lot more of their stuff these days, like the chromatics and everything else, are all not DIY. And I don't know. What do you think of that? Is it the right way to go for them, or is it just a?
Well, I know a few people who kind of have been DIY, and then they've gone to no longer doing DIY. And I can understand that. I don't know if we touched on this before, but the amount of support those guys have to give for builds is time consuming.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, you know, I know that that's a massive element. And in the end of the day, people, they want to be developing new products. They don't want to be continually helping people. And I know that, 98% of the time it's soldering that's the issue.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of people get these. It's fun for me to read the instructions these days because people are like, you must do this, you must do this. Don't leave it on for more than. I think it's actually on one of these boards here. It says specifically
Yeah.
when soldering, do so at low temperature. Don't keep it on for more than like 10 seconds. Who leaves their soldering iron on for 10 seconds?
Well,
that's,
well,
that's an eternity. You're just trying to bake it.
it's funny. Well, I was reading on Facebook on one of the groups, and someone was actually giving the recommendation like to hold the soldering iron for 7 seconds. That's what you do in all cases.
No,
I was just thinking,
it very much depends on what you're soldering, right? I mean, if it's fine stuff, and you have issues with ground plane, of course, and heat dissipation, but I mean, for the most part, that was what, 3 or 4. I'm gonna have to go back to the video and actually count what I'm doing here. But these are tiny little capacitor legs. So.
Yeah, I think the main thing really is to, for me, I've got to always observe what I'm doing really closely. And I'm always looking for the conditions to make good soldering. Right. And one of the things that I always look for is when you've got a tinned iron and you put it to the leg, I look for a tiny, because I use my eyes are terrible, but I use magnifiers and I actually look for the initial transfer between the tinning and the pad and the leg. And once I can, if I see transfer, like a tiny amount, that means that I'm in the best, I'm in a good position to start soldering. Right. In fact, you can sometimes observe the heat around the pad actually changing color. Yep. Well, not changing color, but like slight state change, isn't there?
Yeah, I think it's almost. I mean, it depends on what the material is, but I've seen it go both ways, where it either gets more shiny or less. You just see differences. I also watch for that little vacuum that happens when you're applying solder, and then all of a sudden it went through the via, through the hole, and up the leg the other side. So you just see it pop, and that's a good indication that you've got a nice joint.
Yeah, one of the things that I found really helpful for that was using, and I got recommended this stuff, and people mainly, it's like a liquid flux that normally you would use just for doing SMD, but I actually use it. Yeah, I use it a lot. I mean, like all the time. In fact, when I was at Thonk doing a workshop, Steve said to me, "Don't rely on it," but I do. I do. And like actually,
why
me,
not?
I don't know.
Flux is your friend. It really is.
Well, I guess in an ideal world, I also think the difference is that Steve has got the best solder known to man, the really expensive stuff, which you always get a really good, probably.
I do love living here. The tools and the materials are always top notch.
Well, solder's the thing that really kills you. Yeah. I mean, unless you're really dedicated, you're not going to be spending like the amount of money that people spend on solder. I mean, it is incredibly expensive.
Sure.
Yeah, because I mean, it's one of those things as well. I mean, knowing what exact qualities you need, because I use 60/40. I don't even know what that means. I don't know, something to do with the lead content.
Yeah.
I use leaded solder. And I use, I think it's 4 mil, which is quite small.
Yeah.
And what I found is that it is a flux solder, but I found that initially I was using a 7 mil solder, and it had like a completely different type of flux. And when you actually look at the qualities of it, there's a lot of knowledge there in the makeup of solder.
Yeah.
There's if you go onto a specialist soldering site on the people who actually produce it, there's so many different criteria to choose from. It's actually quite intimidating.
Yeah, I started trying a bunch of different ones, and I settled on this. It's just because it feels right, it flows well. I love the flux.
Yeah.
It's probably not the best thing that I could possibly have, but it's sourceable locally for me, and
That's important.
Yeah. So whenever,
because I actually have to, I get mine from China, but actually
oh
from
wow,
China, not
yeah.
just from and it like and
So when you say you get leaded solder, it's all the lead.
it's all the lead and all the probably all the stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure it's lovely.
And I know, but to be honest, the amount of flux I use as well. I mean, you got so much stuff going around. That's why when my wife started soldering, I was like, you got to wear gloves.
Sure.
Because I just thought, there's one thing, there's one thing me dying, but there's another thing like going into the food chain.
Sure.
Yeah. Worry about
kids and whatever else. Yeah, that's
yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I understand that 100%. Doesn't wearing gloves make it just obnoxiously difficult though?
Well,
she doesn't seem to
mind. I went on the principle that it was basically from word go, so maybe you could get used to it. I don't know.
I don't think I ever would, but sure. No, I'm probably gonna die. A couple years ago, my brother bought me one of those little fans, little soccer sucking fans, and I used it for like a day, and then I forgot to turn it on, and then I misplaced it, and now I have no idea where it is, and I actually kind of want it because I'm doing a lot of work up here, but I can't find it. I have no idea where it went.
I've got one of those. It's like this blue fan with a carbon filter in it. So actually, when my wife started soldering, I added another carbon filter to it, and actually using a little PC fan, so it blows air across as well. A lot of people just make their own PC fan contraptions.
Yeah, but don't you need a controller for those? I mean, the PC fans are 3-phase or whatever. They need This one was like one I bought off eBay. Oh, okay.
And it was specifically a 5-volt one.
There you go.
I actually ran it off the USB on a laptop, so
that'll do.
Works pretty well.
That'll do.
So tell me about the so what the first one you went to was the Tokyo event.
Festival. Yeah, it was last week. Whole lot of folks showed up. I mean, I have a couple. We can kick over to the video here. I have a couple video clips that I took while we were there. Obviously, the 1010 guys were there. The Black Company guys.
Is that the 1010, right?
Yeah, that's all of their toys. They did some fun stuff. Teenage Engineering. Got to play with it. They have the new little micro. Do you see the little micro modular?
Which one was the micro?
It's actually
the yellow one?
No, the little tiny red one. It'll come back around.
What's this?
Black Company from the series from the Black Company, same guy that did Deckard's Dream. It is not DIY. Deckard's Dream was a kit that you could build. They've gone full on. So right there, little maroon.
The red one
next to the red one, a little tiny maroon one.
Oh, that little one. Yeah.
That's making the rounds now. It's actually pretty simple, but not, because it's got four channels from what I understand, and of course it's. I mean, do you want to call it DIY? No, you fold the box around the PC board, and it's kind of done. But all the Teenage Engineering modular stuff is actually pretty intriguing. I mean, I like the fact that they have all these little options and modules and things, and every single one of them takes Lego. So really, I'm just imagining a big giant Technics set where you turn a crank and it does a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Which would be neat,
right?
That would
be pretty cool.
That would be fun. And then, of course, I mean, it was popular, huge event. Lots of people came in. I was stuck mostly at the used module table. That's where they put builders, because although technically my stuff isn't used, it's not made by a factory. So, but the Moog guys were there. I stayed far away from that because I didn't want to get tempted.
D-Fan. Oh, you've got one.
Yeah, I got a Mother 32, the white one that I heavily modified, and then the DFAM. I'm still waiting for someone to make an alternate panel that'll match for that, but it doesn't matter. It sounds fantastic regardless. And then I don't know who else was there. Obviously, the XOR Nerd Seek guys were there. Bafako guys were there.
You see them again you saw them again yesterday as well, didn't you? The
Bafako was down
guys.
here in Kansai as well, yeah.
Yeah.
Then yeah, so this is a live set. Thomas from XOR goes under Beta Square is his stage name, but he's the inventor and manufacturer of the NerdSeek sequencer, which is a big favorite thing of mine. And again, it's not DIY, but God, functionality and footprint. You cannot do any better. And yet he had
we saw him at Berlin, didn't we? And at Brighton actually as well this year.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And then of course the lasers were everywhere. So these guys were just crazy. And it's actually two. It's one laser, but they're reflecting it off a mirror in this club. So it's just going everywhere. And it was a good time was had by all. How's that?
It looks awesome.
Nice. Anyway. So, yeah, next time I think I want to spend an extra day because I only found out after the fact. I don't really do a lot of Facebook, and I only found out after the fact that they were doing a whole lot of DIY sessions, but they were all on the Monday. So the Tokyo Festival was Saturday, Sunday, and then I was flying home Monday morning. And I didn't know there were any sessions or anything because last year they didn't have anything. And all of a sudden, everybody's saying, "Hey, you coming to the DIY? Coming to the DIY?" Like, what are you talking about? so that was a little frustrating. I got not to go, but I did pick up a couple kits anyway. Right? They felt bad for me. So
that is the seeds.
Yes,
isn't
it is.
I'll take.
I got one. Well, we were sitting there going through the algorithms, and he had me at number 5. It goes up through 9, I think, but he had me at number 5. Like, I'm buying that right now. So
I can't say what I'll think about this.
No,
because it'll affect the kit. Yeah, because otherwise you have to bleep it out. I think I've been literally commenting on those today on Facebook.
Okay.
Because Jan put up he put a bit of a teaser about the holes as well. Mm-hmm. He said there's a function with the holes because I actually really like the front panel.
Yep.
It looks really cool.
And it's got all these exposed vias. At first I thought they were going to be touch points or something, so you can do some expressive things, and I think that's probably the case. I don't know if I...
He said there is a function. He didn't... Yeah.
There you go. That's as close as I can. Close as I can get it, but...
it looks brilliant.
And they're all... Yeah, there we go. If I get the light just right, you can actually see all the veins and things. It looks organic.
I know.
All those traces. He did that by hand, and that's just stellar. Massive props. But it's
I know. I must admit,
thing.
I've been lusting after that just today on Facebook.
I'm sorry. I'll finish it tonight and tease you in the morning.
No, don't do that. But hang on, can we just talk about the module a bit more? Because I just saw a teensy in there. Was it a teensy?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. It is.
So... Oh yeah.
Yep, pretty standard. I'm actually not sure if it is pre-programmed or not. But
what version of a teensy? 3.6.
Actually, is it? It doesn't look quite the same. I'm going to open this right now because
going in.
What is that? It's an Arduino thing.
Arduino.
Need more light. Light, please. There we go.
I can see it.
Yeah. So yeah, that is it's an Atmel something. Can you read that? I can't read that.
No.
All right.
It's okay.
No, I just get the magnifying glass out.
So what else we got in there?
Just a wave.
Yeah.
Mega 328p. Yeah. Same as. So it's like a nano.
Yeah, I've got a few of those.
Yeah. Well, you can build one then. Just download the source.
Well. Yeah. What else you got in there?
Just a wave.
Give us the...
I've said that twice now. You don't get it. That's actually the name. That's actually the name of it.
Yeah, but I actually no. But I wanted. If it was mainly because I wanted to know what was in the. I wanted to know more about the seeds.
Oh, see, I'm trying to put it away.
Oh. Yeah, I'm not. I'm trying to get in there.
All right,
And have a look around.
let's do this thing.
Let's have a little.
Okay. So
Yeah, you're not going to get away with it that easy.
No. Okay. So there we go. That's the panel.
Yeah, I want to know all about this module.
I don't know all about it. What do you want me to? I mean, I bought it when he was doing a sound demo, but I.
Have we got a manual or anything? What have you got in the bag?
Doesn't appear so. No. So that's
okay.
that.
That's fine.
The board itself.
Okay.
Most of the intelligence is going to be from this, right? I mean, all the everything comes from that, and these are just the standard buffered ins and outs that you would build around a microcontroller.
Kind of builds, I like those kind of builds.
Generally pretty easy. Like... You know what's going on. It does have this nice real 9-segment display, which is fantastic. I love these things, and it shines out.
Where does that hide?
It shines out through these little. These pinholes.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah, it looks really nice when you finally get it. See all the pinholes. Yeah. There.
So this is.
So it shines out through here, and yeah, I don't know.
That's such a cool. Honestly, fair play.
Nice design.
Yeah, that is a really nice design because it would have been so easy to cut a hole in it, but that's so much cooler. That is cool. I'm happy about that. Yeah. I'm definitely getting that. Yeah. I mean, I'm a big fan. I feel like I'm like the kind of fan that's useless to jam because I've only got the one. Actually, I've only got the TTLFO, which I feel a bit lame, really. But yeah, because I'm a big fan of the sample slicer, but I just haven't. The thing about the sample slicer is that I'm not sure about whether the workflow would end up working in my rack. I suppose I should buy it and find out.
I did sell mine in Tokyo.
Yeah, but didn't you have a problem? Wasn't there a reason? Something to do with the memory?
Yeah, it doesn't actually save between power cycles, and I didn't have a way to bring things back. I mean, I'm not a make a beat, slice it up live time kind of guy. So it doesn't really fit my style. I mean, if I could load it up with a couple different sets of audio, so like coupled with like the 4MS recorder or something, I'm sure I could make it work, but it starts to turn out very large because the sample slicer isn't small by itself, and I've only got 84.7U for the portable case.
That's exactly what I mean. I was thinking, my idea was to use disting as a sample player into sample slicer and then do stuff with it. But to be honest, it's one of those, as much as I love disting, I don't know how, targeting a specific file on the sample in a folder would work in reality.
Right.
It's not enough what you see is what you get type of thing. I want more. This is definitely what it is, and this is definitely what it is.
Yeah, need
use
that
it.
Control. Nerdseed plays samples. I will throw that out there. but the sample memory is very, very limited. I mean, some really short percussion sounds, and otherwise you start running out of RAM. What else works? What about the Ginkosynthese sample drum? And again, that's not a DIY kit. That's something else.
Yeah.
But I don't even know how long that. Not the Pico ones. The Pico ones you can only write A and B to, but the actual big sample drum I think has a significant amount of memory. You could do something with that.
Yeah, I must admit. I was thinking about you could use radio music, or again, because it's so serendipity based. Unless you've got the other firmware on there, I suppose it's kind of like it's a certain type of thing. And it's not necessarily what I'd want to do. I'd want to have a known thing going in.
Yeah.
But there we go.
Nice short pots. See those?
Oh yeah.
Really short.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stubby.
Oh yeah.
Stubby things. But yeah, it really is just that. What else is in here?
Yeah, it looks great.
It's going to be a pretty simple build, I think. Just a couple op amps for the buffering, like I said. Just one single TLO72. Okay.
It's a cool build.
It should be.
But the thing
nice afternoon. That's it.
The thing about these builds is you do them nice and quick, and then you get a hell of a lot of function back because of the Arduino.
Yeah,
all that software.
and I bet you it's probably pretty easy to hack and do your own stuff if you want. That's kind of where I'm heading. So I did.
So I know people do that with grains, don't
yes, they? Yes, yeah, absolutely. So I picked up this. So this is from the same guys that do the NerdSeek, but it is just a wave. And it literally is that. I mean, this isn't available on their website or anything else. It's just something he scratched together for DIY having fun. But there's a color, and it's pick, which is one of the reasons why I immediately wanted it, and not just because it's XOR, but it's a pick based machine, and it's just simple, and if it tracks really well, which is probably the case, it's another nice sine wave for me. And we all know how much I like trying to find sine waves to do stuff.
I actually felt guilty because I removed the FM Ogre from my performance case.
Again, that's all right.
Yeah, again.
No, I don't blame
it.
you at all. It's not the easiest thing to get around, and for you, it probably wants to breed percussion more than anything else. I mean, you throw some other noise into it, and get it through a really snappy, like a low pass gate or something, and you can get some really funky FM percussion stuff. But it doesn't fit for everybody, I guarantee.
I think the thing is the amount of thought that you've got to put into it. I think that's what. I don't know.
You just want to sit down and twiddle. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Good enough.
So what have you got there then? So basically, that just produces the output all the time.
It is literally just tuning, one volt per octave, and output. And he's got a little checkbox on the panel saying which one it's programmed for, because it's not adjustable. Once you flash the micro, that's what it is until you go back and flash it again. But I mean, I have a Pickett programmer, so I can do that whenever. Oh, that was nice. They gave me extra solder. I've only ever gotten solder in a kit like twice. Like they just kind of assume you have it unless they don't, which is kind of funny. But this is again a super simple build just to get a little oscillator, which is fun. Nice afternoon.
Yeah. So I'll talk about my Wednesday when I did the Brighton Modular session quickly.
Absolutely, because I've been talking about Tokyo since we started.
That's fine. I just thought I'd mention it whilst I was looking at my rack, because that was a bit of an eye-opener. Well, mainly because I'd basically known about it for 20 days, so I had to really pare down what I was going to do. I mean, there's a big difference between having all the time in the world and getting a nice little jam together and then recording it for Instagram and thinking, oh yeah, that sounds okay, I'll put that up on Instagram, and then doing a 10-15 minute
set
performance twice.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I was thinking I had to really, I mean, that's why you haven't seen much in the way of building from me recently, is because all I've been doing is practicing. And actually, the thing what you realize is that basically to get a really good set together, I was happy with mine for a first performance, but to have all the complexity of music that I would be like 100% happy with, you've got to put in so much time, and a lot of the subtleties which you kind of come to love in your own at home are completely lost, because you've got the sound of a busy pub environment, full of people all buzzing from being out drinking and having a good time. And even with my headphones, I had these headphones on, even with those on, turned up max, I still couldn't get the same connection I got from home, being at home. So in the end, I just took them off. And then, which was completely different, because you kind of I felt kind of naked, because I don't know what you're like at home. You can't have it fully blasting, and you actually feel a bit like, is it okay to have it this loud? But actually, yeah, it is.
Well,
in this situation,
for you there, it's all right. I mean, first of all, tremendous respect for actually getting out there and doing it. I have yet to ever play live for any more than like a couple friends after we've had a few drinks at home. so, so not even the same thing. I am trying to work my way in that direction. I mean, you see me with the with my little portable case and stuff, and I'd like to get there, but I think I'm too much of a perfectionist.
I was going to say, I don't take this the wrong way, but the thing is, the stuff that you have put together, and I listen to, it's incredibly well produced and put together patches, and to actually perform that, and I know, you know, we've all got our foibles in life, and I know that you being a perfectionist is a tricky thing to pull off. I think I mean, this is what I was kind of hinting at, is actually the subtleties which you kind of come to enjoy at home just completely go out the window.
Right.
And actually, you know, you're starting to think, well, also the other guys were doing like really intense kind of Euro rack patches, which were like the guy next to me, David. I mean, he completely patched it from nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he turned up with nothing in the rack, and he apparently does that every time. David Birchall, I think his name was, and he was doing some incredibly skillful, but kind of Euro rack stuff. He actually showed me this really cool module. I know, kind of like it was, you know, that again, this is going to be one of these things I don't say it properly. I actually had it written down so that I wouldn't, and I knocked my book off. But it's the war. Is it the war? It's wrong with O and R the wrong way.
Yep.
How do you say that then, Jason?
It's wrong electronics, but it's wrong because it's it's spelled incorrectly.
So you had this module which I've not seen before, and it was the mid side.
I have one of those.
Do you?
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Left, right, mid side, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's actually really funny. It is, if you throw certain reverb and effects through it, it'll actually separate it out, and then you throw that to, if you have a stereo or quadraphonic sound system, you can throw them in different directions, which is just messes with people's heads. It kind of reminds me of like the having a quadraphonic bucle, you know. They're throwing stuff around the room.
Well, because I started using that Thomas Henry. I think I told you about it before. You know, the quadraphonic function generator.
Yeah.
And that is awesome, and that's got the potential of running. You know, you could run quadraphonic off of that with you'd need 4 VCAs to do it, but essentially it'd be cool. I'd love to do that. But who's got a quadraphonic sound system?
A decent number of clubs.
Yeah.
At least
it's great.
But
I remember
I've never hooked up to one. So.
When I was like 18, 19, I went to this.
Did you have to bring your own sound system to Brighton?
No, well, no. One of the guys, the guy who runs it, his friend is part of a local club, and he bought his own system.
Okay, so that's.
I think that they used the one from it.
Right.
But this time they didn't. They had like a mixing desk which turned up, and just a set of, you know, like pretty good speakers for a small venue like that.
Nice.
It was, it was definitely awesome. The guy who did the main slot, like the kind of last one, just ran a 5U system with a 606, and he was just basically using the envelope triggers from the 606 into some of those Muga Fuga things, you know, like the big pedals.
Yeah.
It was great, actually. It was just nice to do something, you know, like not normally, like midweek, you wouldn't really necessarily drive somewhere and go and see something. And it was just, I think, where I was taking part, it made me go, really. So it was really cool.
Nice.
Really enjoyed it.
That's cool. I mean, the more I get out, the more I like it. I was very concerned. I told you before, like the first 4 years of me doing modular, and building and doing stuff. I mean, I operated in complete isolation. Had never met anybody that knew what CV meant. Besides, like, it's not your resume, but yeah, your CV. so that was an eye opener for me. And now I'd like to go to more. It's just that, like, even last night I had to come home early because my wife is out flying, and the kids, although they're old enough, I mean 17, they can be home alone, but I don't like leaving them alone. It's like, again, it's that perfectionist control freak part of my personality. Saying, no, I'm not staying out late because I don't trust you to actually go to bed on time.
Yeah, I can understand that. I know what I was like as a kid.
Yeah. So you were saying something about 19. I apologize. I kind of stepped on you there.
What was I saying about 19?
I have no idea. When you were 19, I think it's
oh,
the beginning of your new track.
A quadraphonic. It was a quadraphonic story. When I went to a festival in the UK and I saw. This is one of my classic stories. I can't remember anything.
It's a Gareth story.
The Orb. It's the Orb. I went to go and see the Orb play, and basically they did this track with I think it was either them or LFO. I can't remember, but basically it was like a motorbike going round and round. It was unbelievable, like proper quadraphonic sound. And I always remember that, honestly.
Nice.
It was one of those times, like when you're in a festival and you're hearing this sound go round and round you, and it was just like in a massive tent, and it was just like, it was really good. I'd love to be able to recreate something like that.
Nice.
That was, you think about all the events you've been to, and for something to like really stand out that's just purely to do with sound, it's pretty. Quadraphonic sound is special.
Yeah, there's something there, and I think it's kind of been lost on most folks that have never experienced it. Just don't.
I had this idea about sitting in. I know this is like a kind of a modular idea. So you got your modular, and it was outside, and then I would sit in the middle of a square of grass or something, and then put 4 speakers on each corner of the square. And then just play around with it.
Sure.
Just something like that. I'd love to do that.
Throw some birds over there.
Well, just have. I had ideas about it because I kind of did a thing in the summer. Like I don't know if you saw that thing with the ball bearings.
Yes. I mean that got a lot of attention. It's actually really cool. So
it's just kind of
things like that are awesome.
Well, I was just thinking like outside with modular. Yeah. I've got all these ideas about going somewhere and using the sound of the situation you're in as some kind of element within your modular, music that you're making.
Sure.
And one of them was to do with like putting 4 speakers at the corner of each area and then putting microphones so you could hear at each speaker as well.
Sure.
I'm doing something weird. I'm not sure what would happen, but it was just like the mental image of being in that kind of thing, like in some kind of square. Don't know, just some weirdness I wanted to do.
No, but I have the perfect set of cans for you for the headphones. I used to have, I don't know if it's still here, but I had a full quadraphonic set of headphones that literally had front and rear speakers surrounded. They were big. They were big and they were old, but they had two big quarter jacks, 2 full stereo quarters for front and rear. It was like the coolest headset I ever owned, and I have no idea where it is.
I bought this microphone in the summer, like a Technics microphone, and it's a stereo microphone. But it's like old school. It's not like modern ones where they're like, like where you get ones that point. Yeah, this is like it looks like a normal kind of like a Sennheiser microphone, but each side of it is stereo. No idea what that's originally been used for. It's like really, like a 1970s.
You use it for field recording and stuff, but I mean that blends perfectly with what you're talking about, though. Is if you want to go to a place and just like sample some noises in real quick.
Well, I made my own binaural head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have I shown you?
No. Want to see that?
Here it is. Look.
Oh, nice.
Worryingly.
Just in case, why is it staring at you?
No, it's not. There's some headphones. There's like binaural mic headphones.
Yeah. Of course.
So basically, I'll stick those in its ears, and you know,
well, there you go.
that's how it's done.
Oh, that's fantastic.
You know, to buy one of these is very expensive, but I made my own.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll work just the same.
It will have its own unique personality, sensibilities,
But
something.
well, someone actually, someone I'm following on Instagram, he actually bought ears, yeah, which you can get for what's that? Acupuncture. Like little fake. I know this sounds like I'm like bought these little tiny little acupuncture ears and stuck them to a polystyrene head to make it more like a human ear.
Sure. Okay.
And honestly, it looks quite disturbing, the picture. They're like these little kind of almost like stitched on ears.
Oh, nice. Ew.
Yeah, I know. It's gone like. But yeah, apparently they make it sound better.
We're off the rails, folks.
Yeah. Sorry. Binaural heads do inspire that kind of conversation.
Oh, I would think so.
Strange.
You just wander around the city with one and see how many conversations you can start.
I'll tell you, my kids don't like it. They freak out whenever they see it.
Well, they're still young enough. My oldest is all into art, and so she likes all the models, life body models and things. She gets tons of those. Is this supposed to be folded over or not? I actually have to look up my my build doc.
This is how they get you put on the wrong side.
Well, precisely, yeah. Where is it? Where is it? Yeah, I was so concerned with the Tempcos, I actually didn't read the rest, and this is all pretty standard stuff. So while I'm looking for that, I want to bring up one other thing. We talk a lot about DIY hardware, but I recently bought a livestock electronics Bang. I don't know if you're familiar. Bang with an exclamation point. And they have this interface here, which is kind of cool, a little weird, but it's meant for making your own wavetables, which is kind of a thing, right? I mean, most wavetable oscillators, you can't do that. You're not allowed to make your own wavetables. They just come with whatever comes in it. So this is a weird, weird Ripples wavetable that they have. But you can basically sit here and you can draw your own stuff. Like if I want to start making it, you have to make it bigger, I guess. 20. Okay. So if I do that, oops. So this way, one of these, here you go, will actually let me do more. Of course, I probably should have tried this more than I did, but it has gridding and stuff.
Yeah, it's a standard demo situation.
Exactly. But if I don't like this little bit of the waveform, I can literally just fill it in, right?
Yeah.
And then you get
so it's quite smooth there.
That's quite smooth, but I mean, there's a way to make what you're selecting larger, and I put the grids in, which is what I want. It'll actually give you grid lines. I don't know what that's going to be.
This reminds me of when I'm at work, when I'm trying to demo something.
Yeah, precisely. So, but you can do all this stuff, and I thought that was really neat that you can actually sit here and make your own kind of waves and sweeps and things, and then go back and see what that sounds like. The Bang, of course, will take it and it chops this into chunks, so it'll go faster, slower. Just use just the first bit, just the last bit, that type of stuff. And what I specifically bought it for was I wanted to recreate the SID kind of waveform where it overshoots. We've talked about that a few times. So what I want to do is I want to have this. It goes up and then comes down a bit and then does one of these, right? And oops. But then I should be able to get a square. So there's a little bit of overshoot, and that creates a harshness that isn't present on a normal square, and something like that. So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to find out if it actually works or not, and then I'll get back to you, because that would be a lot of fun. I think.
So what kind of oscillators do you need? You know, I've got a wavetable oscillator here, but I guess because it's, you know, in this case the one I'm looking at is a frequency central Klangstad. Yeah, which is basically what the it's the evolution of the Wave Rider. Yeah, the Wave Rider series, which is the previous ones. So I think that's got a pick in it. I'm not 100% sure, but it's certainly got a chip that he's got his proprietary code on. So how would you use that wavetable once you've got it?
Well, this one
out of the Bang.
The Bang. I mean, once I get it, I said it's got some funky chop options, which is nice. But realistically, I'm trying to make that kind of SID square chiptune sound without spending a whole lot on an actual Commodore 64 and then having to strip it out because that's evil. And I mean, there are some remanufactured. I actually somebody made it. I don't know if it's a teensy, but there is a SID emulator that's actually supposed to be pretty good. But I've never played with it. Swin SID, I think, is the name.
That's it. Yeah.
And that would be fun. But I was talking to Thomas of XOR, and he was big into the chiptune scene a long time ago, and I asked him specifically because I was going to get the ALM SID guts, and he said it's not going to do what you want because it basically turns the SID into a regular oscillator. It doesn't, in order to make those sounds, you have to be throwing instructions at the chips so fast. It's just not something that you can get done in Euro easily. And I don't know if I necessarily agree. Sorry, Thomas. I'm going to try it anyway. But I don't think I'll get the SID guts. I'll try to get there another way. But I'm pretty sure that if you can get a fast digital module like Bang or something to scan through multiple waveforms, you can approximate the effect. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, there's only one way to find out.
Yeah.
I mean, I tried that. I tried the trick which we talked about briefly when you were on just before you got that flight. What was it again? It was something to do with using a mult and using a third oscillator as a source to send FM to two other oscillators.
Right. And that didn't turn out quite as we planned, did it? we were all excited.
I think it was probably my application of it, but it didn't quite didn't produce the dream pulse width sounds. I don't know whether I was using the Frequency Central XVCO2s to do it. Maybe there'd be a better choice for oscillators with pulse width modulation on them, but I am keen to hear it.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but either way, I'm gonna try this and see how it goes. So I'm having a really hard time. I like me. I like soldering off the table, and I don't have a table to solder off. Solder off of. I miss my third hand. Trying to keep everything on camera here, right?
It's good, mate.
1, 2, 3. No, I don't think I can get to 7.
No, it's not about having some kind of episode.
Pop an electrolytic camera right in the middle of the electrolytic cap right in the middle of the stream. That would be fantastic. Let me go wash my hands.
Yeah. What was it? So I was going to do that. The Thonk. They've got that stereo filter. Looks quite interesting. Yeah. It's got a funny name that I can't say. It's with L. You know the one which
the names are going to be the death of you. You never remember anything.
Well, I always choose. I know. The thing is about it was like when we were talking about the SIDS. Here we go. With the SIDS, there was another SID one, wasn't there? But
there's a few. I mean, it's something that people requested over for quite a while, right?
Here we go.
So you're looking at
the tools. Yeah. See, try and say that. Look at the name.
Toolscolarn.
There you go.
I don't know. That's my best attempt.
It's pretty good.
So we're looking at the web. So dual stereo overdrive filter. That's kind of nice. How big is this? HP. I mean, it's pretty significant. The 16. So.
Interesting. They're running two 2 workshops on the same day because it looks like quite a lot of it's actually been pre-soldered.
Oh, is it like a partial board? Yeah.
Well, if you look at
Yeah, see, look at that. But yeah, a lot of this, I mean, this is all 0603 components, TSOP package chips, and surface mount capacitors as well. Even the electrolytics are all surface. I don't like those. Those are like the worst ones to deal with.
I quite like them
Really?
now.
Yeah.
At first, yeah, I've got a little techniques for it.
Okay, good. Well, remember, I still bake all mine. You know, the reflow.
Yeah, I quite enjoy the challenge of them. Actually,
that is what it's all about, exactly.
yeah, Patching Panda. He showed me the way.
Yeah, he's
Berlin.
good. We had a conversation though. I mean, he likes to put a lot of solder on, and I try not to do that.
No, that's fair. I've got some stuff I'm going to be building. I'm going to build I'm hoping to build the West Licks, the sequence, the performer.
I need to see that when you get it done. Yes, that's
yeah.
a lot of conversation.
I'm going up to
about that one.
Going up to my buddy Darren's to go and build it next weekend. Actually, nice. Maybe a monsoon.
Also fun
if he's got any left. Yeah. I love my clouds, but I want to be able to have that direct access to the individual blend controls for each of the 4 areas. That's great.
I never gelled with clouds. It's like everybody wanted it. It was like 2 years ago or whatever it was, 3 years ago. It was you have to have this module, and I've had 2 of the standard format, and I finally got a supercell from Grayscale, and I like that more. Specifically because of all the individual access points. But it is still it's still not my go-to. I mean, I don't know.
Because I put the Parasites firmware on.
Which one? Because there's 2. One's the beat repeat one, and one is the standard Parasites with the weird.
I've got the standard one, not you're talking about the Camarel, whatever it is. Yeah. I haven't got that one. I've got the standard one. And at first, I used the Oli Verb setting loads. I was like, oh, this is nice. It's supposed to be approximation of a lexicon 480 or something. But actually, I thought, well, this is not really... I'm missing a trick here. And I'll tell you what I like doing is I like using the quadrature function generator and using that through a slew to trigger... elements within clouds.
Nice.
So you kind of get a relationship with the pan. So you kind of get so you can kind of muck around with the position and everything. And to be honest, I'm still learning about just using that setting. I mean, I really enjoy it. Using PAMs to trigger the freeze, and then basically playing around with the pitch of the grains. I really enjoy it. It's like having an additional element to play in.
Right.
Basically, if you've got something going through it, freeze it, pitch it up, and it's like a nice harmonic flow. Crazy stuff going on.
Yeah, that's fun. That's what Clouds excels on, is those beds of sound, right? And I invariably put something wrong in it, and so it just sounds like a distorted mess. I think that's why. I mean, because I change keys and I do things. It never sounds as good as everybody else's.
I must admit, I probably use it quite a basic way, but I enjoy it.
No, I think that's precisely what it's good for, though. So, all right, now I'm missing my diodes. That's a problem.
I think the thing is with it that I still haven't quite understood. I think, for example, like which one is it? The density. It seems to work either at right down or right up for me.
Density is on the clouds. Actually, the midpoint is nothing, right? And then when you go left, I think it's timed, it's clocked, stepped correctly, and if you go right, it's more random. But they both increase in intensity as you go away from center.
So that makes sense.
That was actually one of the things that really threw me when I first got it, because I didn't bother to read the manual. I plug stuff in.
Yeah.
It's just I don't want to know. Well, how come it doesn't work when I sit there? I'm about halfway. It's not supposed to.
Certain things you have to, though, don't you? It forces you to it.
I think so. Did you build your clouds? Or did you just buy one?
No. Someone else built it.
No, but it is a build.
It is a built one, yeah. Yeah, Davey built it for me, and it's worked really well. It's a great. But I want one soon, purely, well, A, because of the additional control, and B, because of the size of it. Clouds is massive.
Yeah. Well, Supercell is not small. Twice as large. That's why it stays in the big rack.
Oh, you've got the instrument interface as well.
Specifically because of the mandolin. I think I've told you before, I do play a little acoustic, and I've been in quest of... I don't play keys. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I really like Eurorack and sequencers in general, is because I can do stuff without having to actually learn to play piano. But I do play acoustic mandolin on occasion, and I'm still more comfortable with that fretboard than the piano keyboard. So if there's a way to take that input and control the synth, I think that would be fantastic. But I'm still trying to get there. I have two of the there was a board called the Mind Reader, the PCB of Muff Wiggler, and I have the 1.6 version of the board. If anybody's out there and you have the BOM for the 1.6 version, please let me know, because the guys basically dropped off the face of the planet, and I've been on Muffs asking for more than a year, does anybody have this? I actually made contact with somebody who knew the gentleman, and they passed on the message, but he never signed in, and I don't know what the differences are between the 1.5 and the 1.6, and I know there are differences. It's not the same, quite the same components. It's mostly the same, but not precisely, and I don't want to screw it up, so they just sit and wait.
I can tell how you're trying to hold back.
Oh, come on! If you're going to release something in the world, put the BOM out there, please. There are those of us that are, it's just killing because I bought it and can't do anything with it. Anyway.
No, that's good.
No, it's not. Come on.
Well, I'll tell you what else I've got my beady eyes on.
Uh-oh.
The Shackmat. Their Gemini's coming out soon. It's out. I think it's very close. But I can't tell whether that's DIY. I mean to ask, actually.
Everything they've done so far has been, but no, we didn't ask him.
But he's been making it. But on Instagram and Facebook, he's been posting up pictures of testing built modules, not kits, which worries me.
Oh, I mean, he's got to build a few, even for demonstration purposes. Writing the manual, make sure it actually works properly. Yeah,
but that's going to be hitting the stores very soon. Yeah. I'm a big fan, actually, because Thonk put a load of Shackmat stuff back up, so they've obviously had a delivery.
Right.
But there's no new stuff. I meant to ask.
They had that. They got the Denny sound back in, and something else. What else came? There's something else that came back. They got a lot of stuff.
Loads of proc stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I was on there today having a
Those
little
are
look
good.
around.
I actually got on the beta for the app, and then I never actually used it, and I need to. Oh, this is for Tokyo. This is for you.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
We got it there.
It's a black bag. You won't find out for a while.
Oh, that's exciting.
There are no diodes in here. Okay, that's a problem. This is the last bag that I had to open. I cannot find the diodes for the antiphon.
Those special ones?
No, 14...
4148.
Yeah, no, 407s. Probably have some kicking around.
Sevens.
Yeah.
That's quite strong. So I normally get 1401s or 2s or something.
Usually 01s.
Yeah.
We are reading the guide. Try to find out where that is.
It's quite a good looking guide.
Their stuff is usually pretty good. I mean, I'm so impressed with the build guides these days. They used to be absolutely atrocious, right? Or you just get a BOM and you kind of have to figure it out, and especially when it's R2. on the label on the board, so you have to
There's
go
two
and find
R2s
out.
on the board.
Yeah, you have to go figure out which one is which and which one's not populated, etc., etc. These days, you get almost IKEA instructions for most everything. So this is what I was talking. This is what I was talking about. Those Temcos, they want them bent over on the side. So you're supposed to make them look like that.
It's unusual,
and then,
isn't it?
And then socket the IC
over it.
No. And bend. Then
Under
so you have to bend them back and then bend it over again.
It's unusual, isn't it?
It's just a little odd for me. But I don't see the diodes.
Can you imagine if this is one of your first builds? This is the kind of thing that would
probably
freak people out,
concerning to people. Yeah, and it's a big thing. Like I said, there was the one in Tokyo, and
there's the sockets on the other side.
He was literally trying to give it away.
So scroll back up.
Yeah, here. So there's one. Yeah. It is nicely labeled, though.
No, keep going. There's another one. The picture, the next picture, that one there. You see how they're on the right? They're not sockets, actually, are they? Those are
the pin
pots,
headers that go.
Pots.
Yeah, and those then the trim pots. No, they are. They're nicely labeled. This is the other board. Here it is. So if you look at it here, it says it's only silk screened here. It says place on bottom. So I mean, it is there, but who reads that?
Yeah. Wow, I've fallen foul to that recently.
I am looking at you. and here, these are all screened on this side. So I think that's.
I've got a load of stuff to build, actually.
Yeah, me too. I'm supposed to be getting out of building and starting making my own stuff. I've been playing in Eagle all week, starting to get some PC boards designs ready to go. I kind of want to order them soon so that they'll be ready when I go back to the States for holiday. Be able to pick everything up. All right. Well, I have to go find my diodes.
Okay, mate.
Anything else fun you got going on, or are we just gonna...
I'm basically I'm looking forward to my wife finishing triple sloths so I can get one for my case. Mainly just practicing, just playing with the, doing some cool stuff for that, and then basically hopefully start building again soon.
Yeah, I'm kind of gonna decompress for a bit because Tokyo last week and Kyoto last night. I mean, I'm a little burned. I think. Although I didn't stay out super late. Just gonna take a moment for myself and put together. I took apart my entire large rack.
The whole thing.
The whole thing. It's a chance for me to fix a few things. When I originally built that second tier, the horizontal. I built it and wired it quickly. I wanted to make sure that the power supplies worked, so I wired them directly, and so that the actual power switches on the side are not actually screwed in or connected to anything, and so I need to actually rewire it and get the power switches to work properly, and then I'll be able to close everything up forever. But
cool.
So it's the last minute thing, and I was rearranging stuff anyway. So if I have things unscrewed, this is the only opportunity I'll have for quite a while to get back underneath. So I took everything out of the rack and it's completely empty, and it makes me cry a bit because I can't just sit down and do anything.
No.
Do anything at all. Luckily we have the portable case, so that's what I'll be doing.
I don't blame you. It's a serious operation, especially with your size of rack.
Well, what is it? 126 by 3, 6, 9, 12, 18, 19. You? 126 times 2 and 19. That's a lot. That sounds obscene. It probably is.
It looks obscene.
Thank you.
It looks obscene.
All right. Well, next time, I don't know if you're going to get back to building stuff. You want to do the build? I asked you on camera.
Well, yeah, I'm up for it.
Sure.
I need to get some kind of. If I've got the camera sorted, I'll do it. I'm sure.
Good enough. Alrighty. Well, thanks, folks. Click like and subscribe so we know you're out there. Add comments, any questions. You know how to get us on Instagram or right here on the YouTubes. And we'll see you next time.
Cheers, guys.